This sledging fascinates me. I mean, a lot of you are very strong, tough, skilled cricketers, and you could win a game on your own without really needing to talk to the opposition. So, what causes you to do? What causes you to do that?
Well, sometimes it's to get yourself going as well.
Oh, okay.
You might have a day where you're carrying an injury, or you're a bit sick, or you're tired, or you're sore, or whatever. So, just to get you up for the battle, you might pick a fight with someone, and that used to work for me sometimes. Yeah.
Hmm. How much of your upbringing, how much did the upbringing have an effect on the way you played cricket? Because, as you said, you moved at 18 months from England to Australia. Was it hard growing up in Australia?
Yeah, it was. So I grew up in country Australia. I grew up in the bush, and when we moved to the city, the things that the kids did were completely different. Yeah. Like, we used to play sport every weekend, and we're on our bikes exploring the countryside, every day after school and what have you. And we had to be home before dark, and we'd be gone in the morning, And then when I moved into town, it was all about the shoes and the clothes and all this sort of thing. And I was really uneasy when I first got there. But I was very fortunate that I fitted in with the in-crowd because I could play sport. But if I couldn't have played sport, I don't know what would have become of me.
Is there still that bush boy in you still? Because I realize you love the great outdoors. You're interested, you said a little while, hunting, fishing. Is this that child is still in you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where I am most of the time now. I'm living up North Queensland now.
Not in Brisbane City, not in the central business district.
No, I was only there because I had to be. But in my spare time, I was always up in the north on the farm with my mates, and we'd have weeks and weeks of fun, and just being away from everyone. No one can get me on the telephone. There's only there's two telephone numbers that people can get me on there, and they're both house numbers. And I'm never in the house, so I'm free as a bird.
And yet, people would look at you and say, if Andrew had to be an animal or a bird, what would he be? No one would call you a bird. I mean, birds are delicate things that fly away.
Well, not all birds, Harsha.
Tell me one.
Well, you got
the ostrich.
No, you got eagles and all those sorts of birds. Those birds of prey. Be good to be able to fly, though. Imagine that.
Yes, I mean, we look at you, and the first thing that strikes you is how fit he is. Do you have to be forced to train, or did it come from inside?
No, I sort of hit a point where I realised I had to be, really fit to be able to bat and score 100, and be able to bowl 10, 15, 20 overs in a day. I had to be fit, and I had to be strong. But I enjoyed my fitness. I actually spoke to my favourite trainer I ever had this morning, Justin Cordy, and training with him was fun. Like, it was hard, but it was fun. He used to talk to me, and when we'd do our extra training, we'd do things that I wanted to do, and then he'd just make it just hard for me physically. But you feel good when you're fit and you're strong, and when you're playing your best cricket, I was always really healthy.
And one of the things that we enjoyed watching was you and Ricky Ponting on either side of the field inside the circle, and it was a great time in international cricket because it was Jonty Rhodes and Herschel Gibbs for South Africa, and you matched them, sometimes bettered them, you and Ricky Ponting, and that must have given you a great sense of satisfaction that you were actually cutting off runs, picking up wickets, even if you're not bowling.
Yeah, well, our inner circle was something that created a lot of wickets for us. You could just see the hesitation in batsmen on replays. There was a run there, but they'd look up and they'd see Ricky and they'd hesitate. Then and that's too long with him, like, he'd just be all over it, and running people out and just causing uncertainty. And our fielding went a long way to winning us games on fairly regular occasions, I reckon.
What was your training regimen for fielding? Because some people say, I'll take 100 catches a day. Some people will say, well, I'll throw so many balls a day, I'll stop so many balls a day. What was your preferred fielding regimen?
Well, we were lucky. We had Mike Young come in to the fray, and he was invaluable. Just what he taught you. Like, you had to be smart with your shoulder about how much you threw. But you could catch as many balls as you wanted to. He'd always be watching you. And I could have a session with him for 10, 15 minutes, and something wouldn't be right, and he'd have it straightened out in that time. And you could feel the adjustment that you'd made. That might be small, but now you'd be back to your highest sort of accuracy levels, and you'd be moving a bit better, and your anticipation would be a bit better, and your balance would be better, and then, you know, from there you're back to where you need to be.
Do you practice throwing 70 yards at all? Because you used to throw it flat from 70, 75 yards.
Yeah.
And is that something you don't see more people doing?
Well, I mean, I don't know how people sort of train these days. I haven't been in that environment for a couple of years, but, you know, I did used to practice my longer throws. I mean, it is something that you need to do, because especially when you travel to South Africa and places where the air is different, like the ball travels further and that, you've got to get your range.
Yeah.
You don't want to be overthrowing, and by the same token, you don't want to be short. But I found in altitude it was always good to get some longer throws done, so you could feel your distances.